Hey, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy Darrell Owens back for another episode of One on One. Season 6 continues, and I'm excited, And you'll probably say, Darrell, you say this all the time, so maybe you're lying at this point, but I'm not lying. I'm excited about the guests I have today because every person that I bring on here I just am truly excited because most of the time it's the first time I get an opportunity to physically talk to that person. We'll get a chance to meet that person. But today we got someone real special, man. This man's voice is golden. And I'm not just saying that because he's on this show, but and like you get chills when you hear this man's voice. We got my man, Mr. Cole Johnson, joining us today for episode 172. Episode 3 here in season 6, but 172 overall. And I can't wait for you guys to get a chance to meet Cole, learn about Cole, and we're gonna have a great time doing that here on episode 172 of 101, which begins right now.
One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to One-on-One at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Get up, get up, get up, get down. 911's the joke in your town. All that fun stuff. Welcome, everybody. Episode 172 here, 101 here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. And, of course, Aaron on the amazing Bowie TV. But I will be remiss if I did not introduce you to today's guest. He is the host of Revelations with Cole Johnson, and he's an anchor / executive producer on the BS3 network, which presents the morning shift with yours truly, Cole Johnson. Cole Johnson, it is a pleasure, brother, to have you here today. How's everything going today?
Darrell, it is a wonderful, wonderful day because I'm on one with Darrell Owens. So my day is great. I, I actually came off of a wonderful interview on Revelations with Cole Johnson. So that it dovetailed perfectly into this. I'm so glad that you invited me on here.
Man, look, it is an absolute pleasure. And, a lot of people, if you haven't had a chance to witness the greatness that is Cole Johnson, you can go on his social media platforms and get a chance to check that out. He's got so much greatness going on. And I've always been a fan of some of the little mini commercials that he does throughout for different platforms. And that's why I said that voice is golden. I mean, you can hear it just a little bit anywhere if you've been on this media game like we've been over the last 10 15 years now. It feels like we've been in the game a long time. So we're going to go ahead and get this party started the right way here on One-on-One. And that's with what I feel is the most important thing on any show, and that is the check-in. All right. We start off with the check-in. And with the check-in, Cole, we're just checking in on you, your family, your friends. I want to know, how are things in life right now for Cole Johnson?
Well, okay. Well, things personally that has nothing to do with family or friends or even work. Things are well. I'm in a good spot in my life where I'm learning about myself. I'm feeling myself. Thank you, Beyonce, uh, and Nicki Minaj, uh, and it really feels good. I spent a whole lot of time. I won't say trying to be somebody else, but I spent a whole lot of time doubting me. Doubting if I was going to be uh, someone who actually made impacts, someone who actually made a dent in life. I doubted myself for far too long, and in fact, early today, I actually was thinking about that. I was like, man, if I actually didn't doubt myself so long, there would be certain things that I wouldn't regret. But along with that, I had to take the journey to get here. So
Right.
I'm happy about me. Now, in terms of things that have gone on, you know, well, uh, my wife is, I got to give her mad credit. She is a trooper and a half. She's juggling a business and she's an entrepreneur. And she's also juggling that with trying to take care of my mother-in-law. And that has been a struggle, but it's been a lesson in strength and in perseverance. And she has done a wonderful job with that. Um, Now I've had to recently bury my grandmother, but I don't feel bad because I got to spend a lot of time with her.
Right.
And you know, and she passed away at 98. So it wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like it was 60. It's like, oh, you had so much more life to live, Granny.
Right.
Why'd you go? No, it was, you know, I would love for you to be on earth, but I understand that God had to call you home and you poured into a lot of people. So I am on the heels of coming back off of celebrating her life. And, you know, of course, it comes with its foibles and it comes with its understandings of how things can be. But I mostly tuned that out and I was just trying to honor my grandmother. And it was wonderful. You know, so, uh, and I think you understand where I'm about to go here when I say it. You learn a lot about life when you have to bury someone you love.
Right.
And, and, it's so apropos you have this segment that's called the check in because for the last month I've been checking in with myself in that regard.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, so I can't complain. I've been blessed to be here. I've been blessed to be a blessing, and hopefully I can continue to be a blessing. And I'm wonderful, man. I'm wonderful.
I love that. And that's the biggest thing about the check-in. We just, I think a lot of times we do a lot of things in life, and people don't check in on you. Like
Right.
it's
Hmm.
literally like it's I and when I first started doing the check-in, I didn't even realize I want to say helping people or thinking about people's mental health. And I forgot who I was. It might have been one of my season premieres a couple years ago, and he was just like, I like the fact that you do this mental health check-in. I said to myself, I guess I am doing a mental, and it was more
Hmm.
just, hey, I just want to make sure you're doing all right. And I never thought about it as that. And it's ever since then I just was like, yeah, man, I gotta, it feels good knowing that people are either in a good spot, or hey, if it's not, hey, let us know, man. How do we get you back to where you need to be? And so I'm glad that things are going in the right direction for you, brother. I know how it is to lose a grandma that is that close, especially someone that you spent your entire life with. And I
Right.
remember, like, when my grandma passed, she was 88. I was 16, but we lived together, so I lived in the house
Oh
with her.
wow.
So
Okay.
my grandma had 22 kids, 51 grands. And at the
Right.
time of her death, 51 grands, 86 great grands, and a whole slew of great greats.
Wow. Right.
So I'm number 50, but I got lucky because me and my sister, 50 and
Hmm.
51, got
Right.
to live with her our entire lives until she passed. So it was like a lot of our cousins didn't get that opportunity, unfortunately, to spend
Right.
time as we did with her. So believe me, brother, I understand that
Yeah.
completely. Now
Yeah.
let's get into I guess I go a little bit up there. Well, sorry if we went a little bit somber with y'all earlier, but sometimes you got to get that out, man. You just got to get that
Yeah.
out.
Hmm.
Um, so let's start off with your passion of sports. I want to know.
Okay.
I want to know when 7, 8, or 9 year old Cole Johnson was sitting back at the house and learning about sports and all that fun stuff. Where did your passion for sports come from? What made you fall in love with sports?
I I would love to say what. It more has to be who.
Yeah.
And look, I can tell you what. Obviously, you know, I fell in love with. I was reared in Houston. I was born in New Orleans, but I was reared in Houston. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so of course I fell in love with the Astros, and I fell in love with the
Mm.
Rockets, and I fell in love with the Oilers. Yes, I'm not a young person. Uh, so I fell in love with them. The 7, the 8, the 9-year-old me. Yeah, I was rooting for them, and On the side, I was rooting for the Saints since I was born in New Orleans, and every Christmas I would always get tickets to see Saints games, and for some reason they always conveniently had a home game whenever I would visit my grandmother for Christmas.
Hmm.
So my step grandfather would always take me to see Saints games. So my love of the Saints was naturally born because I was following them and I attended their games. So I would have to say who made me fall in love with sports. That would have to be my father. He is a huge he's a huge baseball fan. Of course, baseball was his first love. It was mine too.
Hmm.
We would toss the ball around, and we did that all the way until I was 17. Uh, so baseball was his first love. Then let's say around the time I was 8, the Rockets actually went to the finals. So it was like the second year I followed the team, and they happened to get that far. Of course, they had to run into the Celtics. Uh, so that ended poorly. Uh, and with the Astros, I had a love affair with them, and of course they were in the National League when I was 7, and
Hmm.
and of course this was probably the first year I vividly remember the Astros. So they, of course, were in the National League. They went into the NLCS. They had 2 opportunities to knock out the Phillies, and this, of course, is when the CS were 5-game series, not 7, and they failed. So then the next year they had a strike, and of course then the 2 divisional winners of the first half and the second half would be in what was the first time ever the divisional series, and of course that was a 3-game series, and saw that, and of course I saw the Astros. They lost to the eventual world champs again. This time it had to be the Dodgers. So I knew heartbreak very well, and then of course there's football, where in Houston, uh, football is absolute king. I mean, yeah, they love basketball. Yeah, they love baseball. And they might even, to a lesser degree, like hockey, but they love football. They will build $100 million high school stadiums. That's how much
Mm.
Houston and Texans love football. So when I was 7, loved the Oilers. And then, of course, by this
Oh,
time,
oh
there was this
no,
wonderful running back, wore number 34, and he was a battering ram. Of
the
course, for those
legend.
who don't know, it's Earl Campbell. So I loved him so much. I had him on my wall, and I mean from the time I was 8 to the time I graduated from high school. And then later on, I had Warren Moon when, of course, later on
Yes.
when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
and they did the run and shoot. So I had him on the wall, and I had Earl Campbell on the wall. So yeah, my father is the one who is chiefly responsible for having me become a huge sports fan.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I got to piggyback a little bit. So obviously, your Oilers are no longer in Houston, and this happened, when
No,
we
they're
were
not.
both younger.
Right.
So
No, they're not.
are you still? Did you travel with the team, or did you keep your alliance in Houston? This is a question. Now, I probably should know this, but I'm intrigued. I mean, my listeners are intrigued because some people said, "Man, bump that." I ain't no Tennessee Titans fan or Tennessee Oilers fan, or maybe you stuck with them while they were the Tennessee Oilers, and when they went to the Titans, you said, "No, I'm out." What was your decision there? Did you end up staying, or did you say, "I'm just going to go to New Orleans and say less"?
Wish I had my image in the background. I would have put it in the back. So when the Oilers left, and they left it, wow, it's almost 30 years ago. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Next year will be 30 years. I'm like, wow, I can't believe they've been gone from Houston that long. So when they left, I of course became a Saints fan,
Mhm.
and I did follow the then Tennessee Oilers, and then I did follow a little bit when they actually officially called Nashville home. They changed their name to the Titans. I followed them. I didn't really root for them, but I followed them.
Makes sense.
So of course when Houston was awarded the Texans, I was like, okay, cool. I don't have to deal with the fake Oilers. I can go with the team from Houston. So what cemented it was I attended the first ever Texans home game, which it was against the Cowboys. This was when Emmitt Smith was just about on his last legs, literally
He pulled
there.
off. They pulled off the upset.
They pulled off the upset.
Yeah.
And of course, Emmett later that year went on to actually become the most prolific rusher in the history of the game. But yes, I saw the game where the Texans pulled the upset on the Cowboys, and so I, from then on, was a Texans fan. I'm like, Titans. Who are the Titans?
Only thing I
I
love
do
about
not.
the only thing I love about the Titans is Steve McNair. Steve McNair was my
I liked him.
outside of if you can
Yes,
outside of that,
yeah.
outside of how I go there, he was
Mhm.
one of my favorite players ever. And I'd always tell people, I'm like, whoever the Packers quarterback is at the time, and Steve McNair, it was like that was the order. So and I've always was a fan of Steve McNair. Hated the way things ended for him. But
Same.
I loved him as a player. And every time I
Mhm.
watched him play, it just like, yeah, he could run, but he didn't have to. And
Right.
and it was especially when you saw black quarterbacks get the stigma that
Of
they
course.
do nothing but run.
Right.
Other than maybe the Warren Moons of the world, and maybe a hint
Mhm.
of maybe Randall Cunningham every now and then.
Right.
But for me, it was just like he was amazing. So okay,
Yeah.
that's I was wondering if you made that leap, because most fans are like, nah, it's like the Seattle thing. You're like, I ain't until the Supersonics come back home.
Right.
I ain't
Right.
forget the Thunders, championship or not,
Mhm.
forget them.
Right.
So
Right.
understood completely.
That's how I am. No. I say this publicly all the time. I root against the Titans unless they affect the standings of the Texans, like what happened 2 years back when
Mm-hmm.
they needed to beat the Jaguars for them to win the AFC South 2 years back. I'll root for them then.
That's it.
If it helps the Texans in the standings, I'll root for the Titans then. But I am rooting for them at any other time. I will, and if you ask me the question, who you root for between the Cowboys and the Titans, I am with the star, with the blue star, and the silver helmet every single time.
Every single time. I was like, I don't care.
Every single time. And I'm not the biggest Cowboys fan, but I will root for the Cowboys against the Titans every single time.
Understood. And that's how it is, man. That's how I feel about Minnesota. I hate the Vikings. People say, wait a minute, you don't dislike the Bears? I don't like them either. But we beat them all the time.
Right.
So that's no
I was about to
concern.
say.
They're not concerned at the curve. They beat us last year. That don't, to me, I'm like, all right, okay, we were tired and we weren't working out.
Yeah.
But
it's the more competitive rival with the Vikings. Yeah.
Right. The last time they beat us, Obama was in office. So that was the last time they beat us. That was the last time they beat us until this year. So it was like, all right, cool. Obama was in office last time they won.
Obama was in office last time.
Hey, it's crazy, right? When I found that out, when I realized it, I said, dang, they haven't won since Obama been in office. Crazy work. They deserve this. They can have that one. The Vikings, on the other hand, they can kick rocks. The Lions, they're starting to piss me off just a little bit. Because as a kid, I mean, the Lions were like, okay, they're the Lions. Occasionally they beat the Packers. The Packers were sick, or somebody had a bad knee. I don't know. Something crazy happened. I mean, heck, even when Aaron Rodgers went down that year, Matt Flynn came in and went stanky on him and got himself a contract against the Lions. That's how I felt like, oh, we good. This is the Lions. Can't say that no more.
No.
The Lions have won 5 out of the last 6 against the Packers, and they have won in some pretty dominating fashion, minus that Thanksgiving one when the Packers were able to sneak them on Thanksgiving 2 years ago. Other than that, it has been all them. They've knocked the Packers out the playoffs. I mean, Aaron Rodgers' last game sent his butt going. It's like, bye, Aaron. You're no longer here. Get out of here, buddy. Right. And so that's how standings of hate right now. Vikings, Lions, Bears. Oh my!
Yes.
Yes.
Now, so yes, I will root for the Colts against the Titans. I will root for the Jaguars against them, unless it means it helps the Texans. I will root for the other divisional rivals before I'll root for the Titans.
See,
that's
and I think
how much I dislike the Titans.
I think that might be the only way I would ever root for. Like, if like the Vikings had to win for the Packers getting the playoffs, by all means, that's fine. If it's going to help us get in, that's cool. Other than that, bump y'all. Now, Cole, let's get into your journey. I want to get into your journey on how did you become who you are today as a sports and news executive producer, podcast host. I want to kind of get into that. I want to know the moment that you said, man, this is it for me. Like this is the moment that you said, I'm going to jump in this field. And from that point on until where you are now, can you take us on that journey?
Sure. I definitely can. All right. So, doggone, I'm old.
Cold on.
13 and a half years ago. I'm in, I'm in my apartment with my wife, and she's actually producing a radio show. She no longer does it now. And so she was thinking about time to fill air for the show. So she sat back, she looked at me as I was looking at SportsCenter at the time. And she said, "Baby, let's have a chat." Oh Lord.
What did I do now?
Yes, yeah.
What did I do now?
Yeah. We need to talk. I'm like, no, the 4 most dreaded words for a husband to hear a wife say. I'm like, why? Why do we need to talk? Just say we want to talk about what? But no, we need to talk? No, fine.
By all means.
Right. So she calls me to where she was sitting at the kitchen table doing the editing of her show. And so she said, "Tell you what, I had this idea. You know sports very well. I mean, you watch it all the time. I think you can talk about it. And I have a 2-minute spot where I think you can speak on sports. And I will put it on my show if it's good enough."
If it's good enough, okay. By
Yeah.
all means, baby.
I said, okay. Does it have to be anything in particular? Now, mind you, she was doing a Christian music radio program. So I said, wait a minute. So does it have to be on anything? Anybody? She said, "It doesn't matter. I don't care who you talk about. I don't care what sports you talk about. Just talk of what you know. And you have 30 minutes to come up with this 2-minute segment starting now."
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you didn't give me time to even ease into it. I'm like, okay, fine. So I thought about it. And this was, of course, around the time when the NFL is entering into its playoff stage. And when the NBA is in interest. So I was like, okay, it's easy. I'll talk about the NFL playoffs. So I came up with what I was going to say about this was wild card round. So I came up with what I had to say about the then 4, now it's 6, but 4 wild card games of that weekend. I was like, okay, I think I could do that. 30 seconds each. I give you 2 minutes, no problem. I think I can knock this out. And so it took all of the 30 minutes for me to carve it the way I wanted. And so, of course, she came back to the table. She said, "So, are you ready?" And she sliced the mic right in front of me. I'm like, "I guess I have to be," said, "you just sliding the mic in my face."
Come on, babe.
It's like, all right, well, when I point at you, that is when you'll go. So then I heard her hit the space bar to record what I was going to put down. And she pointed at me, and then I went to town. Now, I don't remember exactly what I said. Except for the end. I can't remember the teams that I talked about, but I remember the end of it. And the end of it, I said, "I'm Cole Johnson, and this is full sports." My wife's look was absolute gold. She was like,
"I love it." Thank you, baby.
"How did you do that? How'd you do that? How did you know how to do?" I was like, "I don't know. I've heard radio programs. I've seen, I've heard the bits of people who would talk in a 2-minute bit, and they got to be memorable." So I was like, "Okay, I understand.
I can do that."
They have a tag." So I was like, "Fine. That's how I did." Oh my gosh, I love how you guys. I love that. You got to do that every time you do your show. You got to do that hook. You got to do that hook every time you do that show. Every time we do a show, I love it.
She hype.
Yes.
Baby girl's like, "Yeah, I love you, baby." Thanks, baby. I appreciate that.
I appreciate it. Thank you. That's the name of your show. That's the name of your show. Whole Sports. That's the name of your show. I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. I sat on that idea for 4 years. I didn't do anything for 4 years on it because I figured, okay, well, that's cool, but I don't think people want to hear what I have to say about sports. Huh. So then, 4 years later, again, around wild card time, I decided to record an episode. And I was thinking, okay, well, then again, 4 wildcard games. Cool, I'll talk about that. And I
That
figured
ain't too
since I,
bad.
no, it's not too bad. So I figured, okay, well, 15 minutes for each hour show, that'd be fine. Then I looked at the end of when I recorded, almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And I let it roll. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna let it roll.
Right. Right.
I said, all right. So I'm a chop all it down to an hour the next time I talk anything sports wise. And I'm gonna start and I'm gonna start bullet pointing my stuff so I can actually keep myself on time and not go off the rails. And so then I created what ended up being Cold Sports. There was one 60-minute show, then it ended up being two 60-minute shows a week. And then in year two it ended up being I think a 60 and a 30. And I did that for I'd say about maybe 7, 8 years. And then uh around 2022. Yeah, I think it was about right. Uh Brian Snow, which
Hmm.
aka Snowman,
So man in
he
the
hit me.
building.
Yeah, he hit me up. He said, I think I would love to have you on my show, and not just as a guest. I think I should have you on permanently. All right.
You sounded like him for a second the way you said it. I was like, oh shit. Just a little bit of impersonation. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
should be on. Yeah,
So man
you
in
should
the
be on
building.
permanently. Yeah, should be on permanently. I think you'll do a great job. What do you say? I'm like, okay, sure. And so he ended up wanting to have me not just be a co-host, but to be actually a producer of it. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. And so then I found myself dragging a lot of cold sports elements into Snowman in the Morning, which unfortunately for me, it sort of dulled wanting me to do cold sports. But it got me in the door with so many other people knowing that I had this, I guess, talent to do this. So uh, I formatted his show, and it was successful. But then, for me, I will rewind a little. So I was 8, and and this is actually sports related. So I was 8, and I saw this guy at 6 and 7 and 8 uh, do NBC, uh, basically be the anchor what James Brown is at CBS, and what Craig Menefee is at Fox. So I would see this guy be the point person, and I was like, man, I'm fascinated with this guy. I like what he's about. And of course, he ended up being Bryant Gumbel. I'm like, I love his style, I love his steez. Of course, back then steez was not a word, but I love this flavor. I'm like, okay, I think I like how he did it. So then he transitioned from being on NBC Sports to the Today Show, and back to my grandmother. Every weekday morning, she would be watching the Today Show, bright and early. Of course, we're in the Central Time Zone, so it'll be 7 a.m. In your place, it would be, I think, it'd be 7 a.m. there too. But of course, it would come on an hour earlier than here. So I was fascinated with this guy, and I was like, wow, he could talk about sports, and he could talk about things non-sports with the equal aplomb or
Mhm.
ability or skill level. I think it's time for me to do that, and so I had to leave Snowman in the Morning, and it wasn't anything controversial. It wasn't, oh, it was poor working situations. It was bad chemistry. No, no, Snowman and I are still boys, and I still pop on the show every now and then. And I was like, I think it's time for me to honor what I what I think I'm meant to do. So that's how the morning shift was born.
Mhm.
Now, how this was funny. when I was talking to someone that you will be interviewing very soon about this.
Right.
I actually was talking to his right hand man, who I'm very close to too. And so he said to me, "All right, we want you to do this morning show, but there's two things that must happen." Okay, okay, two things that I have to agree to. What is it? He says, "All right, the name of the network has to be on the front of the title, and your name has to be at the back of it." Okay, wait a minute. There isn't any type of segment you want to create. There's not any other direction that you would like to have an imprint. Since of course I'm going to put BS3 Network on the show. No, whatever you want to do, it is all yours. But just promises to have BS3 Network at the beginning of the title and your name at the end of it. That
Sounds
is
like a
all we. Yeah, go ahead.
no. I'm just saying it sounds it's a beautiful thing. Like he let you set you up the way you wanted to kind of set it up there, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, that's it. I was like, I'll take that 100 out of 100 times. Thank you. All right. And that is how the BS3 presents the morning show with Cole Johnson this morning. That's the official title of the show. And I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I had to take a little time away from it, but I'm coming back to it. But I enjoy it. I really enjoy having the opportunity to do sports and non-sports things. But it all started with my wife having me do a 2-minute segment on her show. And I did a tag called Cole Sports, and she just ate up how I did the hook.
And it's crazy how some of those things happen, and I think like a lot of people don't realize, and you didn't go to school for this. You didn't
No,
go to school for this, and
no.
that's it's a lot of similar stories with a lot of people that are trying to break through in the industry now. Like for me, I wanted to go to school for it. I got into school for it, and God rest my mom. So she talked me out of going to school. She was like, in hindsight, at the time, I was like, man, I really wanted to go to school. And then now knowing I probably could have went for free, but that's besides the point. So now knowing I'm like, okay, I'm still getting to do what I love. I didn't have to go spend like crazy money to like be still paying these people back and be in debt, doing something that I love. Um, and I used to be mad at my mom at first for that, but now I look at it, I'm like, well, look what you get to do now. I'm doing NFL stuff. I get to, do play-by-play, which is my passion on top of passion. That's something I've always wanted. Like that's my life's dream. And I'm getting the chance to do stuff like that now. And I say to myself, like, I started from nothing. Like I had to kind of create it on my own, and there was a part of me had to start, I had to create it. And I had a great team that I was able to build a great team behind me of great people who were like-minded and wanted to do this thing and wanted to love sports. And it's just been a fun ride. I think we started back in 16 and now it'll be 10 years next year. Like I sat there to myself, like, I cannot believe it'll be 10 years next year. Our 9th birthday is in 3 weeks, so for the network. So it's very, very interesting. Well,
that's where I am. 10 years for me in January.
10 years. And it goes back quick when you're doing something you love. You're doing something you love, and go back quick. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Cole, before we get into our last 2 segments, we got to do one thing. Because since you brought it up, I just want to bring it up real quick. Your quick Texans outlook. How do you see this team playing this year before we get into quick ones?
I see them. I think they'll be a little better than last year. I think they'll learn the lessons and apply them from what they did last year, because I figured after their 10-7 season in 2023, they was going to stub their toe a bit. They still ended up being 10-7 and winning the division in 2024. But I figured they was going to stub their toe,
right?
And I figured they're going to have more targets on their back, and they were going to struggle in doing so. Because a lot of people were saying, "Well, yeah, they're going to win 13 games." I was like, no.
Yeah, I definitely had them at 13. I definitely had them at 13 last year.
I was like, no, not this year. Not 2024. If they'll be lucky to get 11. I don't see it. So they got 10, and of course they did their thing in the playoffs like they did the year before, and they got bounced in the same place I thought they would in the divisional round. I love the makeup of the team. Mm-hmm. I'm not quite sure if I believe they are ready to take that next step yet. I want to say I can see them winning 12 games. I can see them actually going to the AFC Championship game. I don't see that. I don't think they're better than the Chiefs. I don't think they're better than the Ravens. I don't think they're better than the Bills. And to me, they would have to be better than two of those three teams for me to think that they can actually be at least in the running for the AFC Championship.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I don't think they are. I think the Ravens are too physical for them. I think the Bills are too talented for them, and they have a little more experience. And the Chiefs are just simply too much for them
Mm-hmm.
still. So I don't think that they're going to go past the division round again. I can see them winning 11 games this year. I could see them being 11-6, but I don't think they'll pass the divisional round for a third consecutive year. I want them to pass there, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because, like, you see it, and I'll correlate this with one other team before we move on. When you see a CJ Stroud have the year that he had that first year, the second year, obviously the expectations will go crazy high. But we got a lot of people don't realize, hey, they got a first place schedule that they're going up against that second year,
Right?
compared to what they had the year before last.
Mm-hmm.
And now this year, they won the division again this past year.
Again.
So yeah, it's another first place year. So they can go up from here. You got your star quarterback on one side, and you got your star guy and Will Anderson on the other side. You got two young pieces that can have this team set to be solid for a long time. So it will be interesting to see what pieces they get over the next couple of years to put them over that hump. Will Buffalo start to fall back? Will the Ravens start to fall? Will the Chiefs start to fall back? And then will that be their chance to move on up? It'll be interesting to see. All right, everybody. Now we head to my favorite segment of the show, Quick Ones. All right, Cole Johnson, are you ready for the Cole Johnson edition of Quick Ones here on 101?
Let's do it.
All right, first one. Favorite sports moment?
Favorite sports moment? Okay. Favorite sports moment, and I was sick when this happened. When the Rockets won the first ever professional sports championship for the city of Houston, which that would be June of 1994. Now, I'm best friends with Wise Lefe or Will Otero, and he's a huge Knicks fan. So, of course, for those who know, back then, the Knicks went against the Rockets. Of course, I don't remind him of this, but of course, he was, of course, sick because the Knicks were up 3-2, and they went to Houston. They choked game 6 and 7 away. So, of course, I was happy, but I was sick, which sucked. But and this is so messed up. And I could say I attended games that year. I attended playoff games that year. And I could say, well, those are great moments. The best moment. I'm sitting in my parents' house. My parents are both upstairs. They're asleep. I'm watching the massive celebration that's taking place. So in Houston, there's a street called Richmond Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
And from a street that's called Chimney Rock to another street called Hillcroft, which is about maybe a mile's distance apart, you have a lot of adult entertainment and other bars and clubs that are adorn Richmond Avenue from that stretch. So one of the newscasts does a pan shot of a crowd that's on the Richmond Strip. They call the area Richmond Strip. So they pan the crowd that's on the Richmond Strip.
Oh.
And of course, everybody's going absolutely ballistic and ape, you know what. And then I see this girl or this young woman, probably around the same age as us. She's wearing a red Rockets jersey. Not jersey, I mean Rockets shirt. She decides to take the time to grab the bottom of her shirt and moon the camera. What makes this even funnier is that the cameraman stopped right there.
He paused. He was chilling.
He paused, chilled.
He
I
said,
mean,
"Oh my."
she was front and center in the center of the
Oh
shot.
man, somebody got
And
fired.
yeah,
Hey, somebody got fired.
yes, Moon, and she did not have a bra on either. I mean, mooned it, and it stayed there for 10 seconds before it quickly moved to the rest of the crowd. I'm like, oh,
Man, 10 seconds is a long time.
yes,
It don't.
yes.
You said 10 seconds, you be like, "Oh, that's not long." One,
Mm-mm,
two. That's a
mm-mm.
long time under that circumstance.
Yes, yes. I was like, man, I'm happy that the Rockets won the championship, but man, this takes over the top. I'm like, this is hilarious.
This is top 5.
Yes,
Next one on quick ones. Worst sports moment.
this is easy.
This is easy.
January the 2nd to the 1993.
Oh,
So the AFC wildcard round game between the Oilers and the Bills
oh man,
were
I'm sorry.
underway. So for those who don't know, and I get reminded of this, I have a Bills friend, and I get reminded of this every year around its anniversary. For those who don't know, the Oilers had a 28-3 lead at halftime,
Mm.
and of course Jim Kelly didn't play the game because we injured him the week before. So Frank Reich went in, and of course Frank Reich had the largest college comeback in college football history. We did not know he was going to be leading the largest NFL comeback
Oh
in
man,
NFL history.
this is tough.
And when Bubba McDowell caught the interception and went in for the touchdown to go up 35-3, I turned the TV off. I'm like, cool.
We
We're going
good.
to Pittsburgh. We good. We're going to Pittsburgh next week. See ya. And I got some food. I came back. I was like, oh, let me see what's up. So I turned it back on and found out that the Bills were starting chipping the lead. It was 35-17. And the Bills had the ball, and I saw them 2 plays later score again. And of course, then the Oilers turned the ball over. They score yet again. Then there was a 1-2-3 punt, and the
Oh,
Bills
man.
scored yet again. Which, of course, if you're following at home, that means it's now 38-35. And I saw this absolute debacle, and my jaw kept dropping, and my blood pressure kept rising up, and I just kept getting angrier and angrier by the second of this game.
I'm so sorry.
So now the
so
Oilers
sorry.
tied it. Yeah, so the Oilers tied it with a field goal. They go in overtime. Then the Oilers decided to turn the ball over in overtime, and then Steve Christie kicked the field goal to make my life miserable because the next day I was in the military. The very next day, I walked into formation. Johnson, how did your Oilers do? Man, they suck.
Oh man, people are the worst, man. People are the worst.
All that day.
Oh,
Man, you just pathetic all this, ain't you? Oh, shut up. Oh, it was horrible. That day was horrible.
I'm so sorry, man. I feel bad sometimes when I ask a question because I know I'm leaving people back to terrible times.
And I can say to you, number 2 is distant.
It's not close. It's not close.
Not even close. Not even close.
It bothers me, but it don't bother me.
No, Game 7 of 2019's World Series when the Astros did have a lead and they choked it away.
Mm-hmm.
That sucked, but I did not nearly feel as bad about that L to the Nationals as I did to the Bills coming back from 35-3 in a playoff game to beat the Oilers.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll give you mine real quick. I know I've done it multiple times on the show. Packers Seahawks NFC Championship game 2015. I ain't got to say nothing else. All I know is 4 minutes. About 4 minutes, some change left. My brother was like, "Your boy's going to the Super Bowl." I said, "Look, man, stop talking like that. This game is not over yet."
Especially with 16-0 lead.
Yeah. And then congratulations, Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. He's from Richmond. I try. It's hard to dislike Russell Wilson, but man, every time. Every time. Next one, favorite athlete of all time.
Favorite athlete of all time. This is somewhat tough. I guess I had to go with Akeem Olajuwon.
The dream, baby, the dream. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I think I had to go with Akeem Olajuwon. I almost want to say Muhammad Ali, and I could if I wanted to, but since I was an adult when Akeem did his thing, and yes, I was in high school too, but I was adult when he actually was the king of the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
it was wonderful to see the skill that he put on display, and I followed his, of course, being from Houston, I followed his journey when he actually came from Nigeria and went to U of H, and he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, let alone a free throw. And he ended up actually learning how to shoot free throws well, to the point where he was not a liability when he got on the line. He didn't have an offensive game, but he could swat everything that came to him on defense, and he kept being a good defensive guy. And then he learned under Moses Malone in summer sessions, and he became a great offensive threat too. And then, of course, the best moment of him for me, of course, is the 1995 Western Conference Finals, where he saw David Robinson get the MVP, and the King was like, "No, sir,
Don't make a
you're not
difference.
better than me.
I'm about to dream shake you out of the playoffs,
Yeah.
baby. Let's get it."
Yeah, I'm gonna give you fakes upon fakes upon fakes. As quick and as nimble as you are, son, you ain't gonna catch up to this. Oh man, that was some brilliance.
Oh man, I love the dream, and that's the reason why the dream shake as a kid. And people was like, "Well, who's your favorite center all the time?" I said, I love Shaq. I need people to understand I love Shaq, but the
I love
dream,
Shaq too.
but the dream's different. There's something about the dream that's all I can say. I mean, I don't have to explain to you. I mean, you already know. All right, our last two on quick ones before we get to our last session here. Worst cereal ever in the game? There's a cereal that you are not a fan of. These are the fun ones I like to call. But
Oh, this is easy. My father had this, and he probably still eats it to this day. Could not stand it. Raisin Bran. Not a fan of Raisin Bran.
Raisins and milk, man. Who's eating raisins and milk? Pops here.
Not a fan of raisins. And my father, he loved raisins and Raisin Bran so much, he actually would buy boxes of raisins, and he would actually pour them into the cereal. I'm like, no, sir.
Oh, why do you need extra? There's already 9,000 raisins in there, and then the raisins sit at the bottom of the box. So when you got all the, all right, your dad's a different person.
Yes, he is.
Your dad's a different.
I love it.
He must have fell. He must have fell in love when they had Raisin Bran Crunch out there.
Probably so.
Yeah,
but I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, nah, man.
I'm pray for your dad. That's a little tough. That's a little tough. All right, now I know we're running a little low on time here, but we're gonna do our last one, a quick ones, and then we're gonna finish this all properly, brother. So this last one, a quick one, is always my fun one, or I call it the more complicated one, but it may not be.
Okay.
Since you're an executive producer, you are producing a roundtable, right? And you can have three guests of your choice. Who are they, and what are they talking about?
Okay.
It could be anybody, dead, live, you name it. If you can put them in a room, breathing, obviously, but if you can put them in a room and have a conversation, who would it be? What are they talking about?
This would be interesting. Okay. Let me see. Oh yeah. All right.
Yeah, I love it. I always see if I can get people to be like, all right, this is a little good. This is good.
No, this is as a good one. I love it. It's. I'm just trying to find the direction I want to go. Okay.
Yeah, so many decisions, right?
Okay. Let me see. You all gonna hate me. Adolf Hitler.
Oh, whoa! All right, Hitler.
Yes, Adolf Hitler.
Oh wow.
Trying to find who would I want to put? Adolf Hitler. Trying to find somebody who's a good icon, and I can actually put them in.
Oh man.
Let's see, Adolf Hitler.
I think I know where he's going with this. So crazy. Have to have security in there.
I'm trying to find the right person to put on.
Oh my God!
Why not? Adolf Hitler, Joan Rivers, and Jesus Christ. And the topic of the conversation would be. Why would you actually be so evil to want to murder somebody?
Oh man, I don't think nobody. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm watching that documentary. There's a round table. I'm in there like, hey, y'all know Hitler coming on tonight. Well, Jesus is gonna be there. Who's hosting? Right. Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers.
And Joan Rivers is one of the best hosts out there.
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna get something
Hmm.
out of you. Oh man,
Yes.
Cole, you're mine, baby. You're mine. You're mine. It's one of the most unique answers I've ever heard, but I
Hmm.
love it. Absolutely love it. There it is, everybody. That was the Cole Johnson version of Quick Ones, and we're gonna
Thank
finish
you.
this thing off the right way, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna let
Hmm.
Cole leave his legacy. All right. All right. So we're about to get off this bad boy, Cole
Hmm.
Johnson. We are so happy that you were able to stop by with us today to talk about your life, your career, and as we're about to do now, your future. Before we leave, we want you to leave your legacy. So, with that being a two-part dream, one, I want to know when it's all said and done, and you're sitting back if you drink a pina colada. I'm not sure your drink of choice, but you're sitting back, maybe on a hammock. What are the bad boys that swing the hammock,
Hmm.
and you're on the beach and you chilling, and you can reflect back on your career. What do you want your legacy to be? Part one, and in part two, you got any special projects going on you want us to all know about?
Okay. All right. This was a beautiful journey, and to look back and to influence people in different ways through graphic design, through voiceovers, through straight up content, through producing different shows and laying out how we can make even this form of media interesting, where you don't necessarily need to have somebody professional to do it. If I had to say I'm leaving a legacy, that's a legacy I want to leave. And of course, I want to show that you can have this look and you can be as astute in sports, in fashion, in entertainment, in politics, in news, and in Christianity. You can tie all of that together, and you can be this one-stop shop and be as diverse and to be as insightful and as intelligent as you could possibly be. Because I do not believe that we all are monoliths, black or not. I think we are all human beings. And there's a saying that I always hold dear, and I always love to leave people with understanding. And that saying is, well, let me do it in the way I normally would do it. So there's this saying, and it says, quote, "You were born an original. Don't die a copy."
Mm,
Close quote. I want to leave people with the understanding that you could be an original
hmm
because I am showing that I'm original. And you may not agree with how original I am. That's fine. But the fact that I'm leaving that originality, and they say, well, we know who this guy is. We know what he's about, what he stands for. And I can look back and say, I'm proud of this work. That's the legacy I want to leave.
I love it. I absolutely love it, brother. I absolutely love it. Um, I couldn't have said it better myself. I love that. I love it. I love it. Projects, man. Any projects that we got going on we got to talk about on the Cole Johnson
Yeah,
front?
why not? I like I said, I did have BS Reposition Morning Shift with Cole Johnson on hiatus, but it's coming back. Um, I'm debating on when it will be July, but I'm debating on which Monday I'm going to have it debut. But I'm leaning on the 28th at for it to return. I miss doing it, and I'm going to love when I return doing it. Uh, right now, I'm actually doing interviews for the interview platform that, well, the anniversary of it's coming up in August. And I can't believe it's been 8 years of creating that one. It's called Revelations with Cole Johnson, and it is an interview platform where people get to show how much impact they have on the earth, and they do it with conversation.
Mm,
So I'm in the midst of actually recording interviews now. I will debut the first of those this coming Tuesday, and you can find it on the Revelations with Cole Johnson YouTube channel.
awesome. Awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait to deep dive into Revelations, man. I appreciated the invite myself. He was like, "Hey, man,"
Yes.
I was like, I can't wait. And it's
Yes.
funny because I don't. This is gonna sound crazy, but I don't get interviewed often. I've done like appearances on show, but like interview about my maybe career or whatever happened. It has happened even doing commercials. Even though I did commercials, that doesn't happen often. It's been a long time, so it's much appreciated, brother. And I can't wait to be on. Well, look, before we get out of here, we got to talk to you about next week's guest. And I'm going to let the man here, the myth and the legend that is Cole Johnson, introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, next week's guest.
Well, on season 6, the next episode, I think this is episode 4 of season 6, correct?
Yeah, the episode for this will be episode 4.
Okay, so season 6, episode 4, or episode 173. It is the owner, the manipulator, the operator of the BS3 network, but I normally say Benjamin Sutter. You're going to enjoy this gentleman. He is an absolute jewel in this game, and I've known this brother 10 years. He is like a brother that I wish I had sooner, and I'm looking forward to this episode personally. Yeah, that's Ben Sutter III, the CEO and founder of the BS3 Network.
Man, I can't wait to have Ben on. And it's so funny. Me and Ben did a show together. It feels like forever ago now. It was like 2017. This was when I first started in the game, and I went on his show. And it was
sports. Yep.
It was so long ago. And I told him, I said, "Hey, brother, this is long overdue. It's time for us to get back and talk again." And it's been almost 8 years. And that tells you how busy we've all kind of been in this game in different aspects. And I saw him a couple years ago at the Super Bowl. It's the first time we got a chance to meet him. Just an extremely nice guy. And it's just so crazy how we all see each other on Facebook and we see each other in person. And it's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Like, what you doing?" And like, we're high-fiving and stuff. You thought we known each other for physically known each other for 37 years or something like that.
Right.
It's a very beautiful thing. Well, everybody, I just want to once again thank Cole Johnson for coming on with us and being a part of One-on-One. And Cole, I appreciate you. I know I said it already, but I can say it till I'm blue in the face. It was such a great opportunity to bring you in to talk about your life, your career, man. And I truly, truly appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for extending the platform to me. And it is good to actually get a chance to chop it up with Darrell Owens.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all go check out Cole. Tell them where they can find you, Cole.
All right. You can find me.
He's got a lot of them. Y'all be ready.
I think I'll just go YouTube only. You can find me on Revelations with Cole Johnson. You can just go to youtube.com/ @Revelations Cole Johnson. You can also go to BS3 presents Morning Shift Cole Johnson, youtube.com / @BS3 Morning Shift Cole Johnson. That's the address for that show. You can also find me on doing Mentality with my brother Wazelefe. I forgot. That's also something that I'm going to dust off and come back and do. That's going to be in August. You can find that on youtube.com / @COMI Media or Comey Media Inc.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the man himself, Mr. Cole Johnson. This has been episode 172 of One-on-One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. And, of course, Aaron on the Amazing Bowie TV. That's Cole Johnson. I'm Darrell Owens. We'll see you next week for episode 173.
Point of that.
One. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof.